No shortage of topics to hit at the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland. Let's talk to Cisco CEO Chuck Robbins, always a regular guest for Yahoo Finance at WEF. How are you, sir?
Absolutely, I'm good. How are you?
I'm okay, I
Cold?
think. Yeah, just a little nippy. What's not cold is the news cycle.
That's true.
That's actually pretty good. I came out with that,
That is good.
on the fly. What's your sense? We're 3 days now into Trump administration. Is this administration as business friendly as many are led to believe?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
How so? I mean, is it just cutting taxes and regulations and we're off to the races?
Well, I think if you think about the things that are really have been difficult, first of all, you got to do taxes this year because there's a lot of expiring, and if we don't do them, there's trillions of dollars in tax increases for the American citizens. So we got to get that done. And with Republican Congress, Republican White House, it's still going to be complicated, but it'll be easier than it would have been. So that's first. And we know where Trump stands on corporate tax rate and corporate competitiveness. And everything that we believe in is around pro-growth, which we think is good for the country, and Trump generally believes in the same thing. So regulation, you mentioned, financial services industry in particular, permitting, things of that nature. We think M&A will be much simpler now. I think we've heard a lot of the banks CEOs talking about how the activity is beginning to pick up. And then, we have the issue of tariffs that we have to just wait and see how they play out.
You're also head of the Business Roundtable. Is that one of your main topics when you talk to CEOs and then you go, I guess, talk to members of the administration? Is taxes top of mind for you this year
Yes.
to get that corporate tax rate? I mean, what is it now? Is it somewhat favorable or?
Well, yes,
or not?
21. It's good.
That's pretty good.
And we worked hard in 17 for that. But conditions are a little different now. This year, you've got the deficit, you've got interest rates, and so there are a lot more variables at play that are going to come into discussing what the actual tax package looks like. Our hope and desire is obviously to keep the rate where it is.
Can it go lower than 21%?
We would love to see it go lower than 21%, but we're also pragmatic about the broader situation that's going on with the tax package.
How concerned is the CEO community about rising deficits?
Very, very. I mean, when you contemplate the fact that we're actually spending more to service our debt than we are on our military, that's just a troubling statistic. And I think the business community appears to be more concerned about it than Washington does.
You think we're headed towards some form of day of reckoning?
If we don't do something about it. But I think growth can be very helpful for the deficit. I mean, if we can put pro-growth policies in place and really help our businesses thrive, help us create jobs and grow, then that's good for the economy and it'll help resolve the deficit over time.
How has it been like doing business the past 4 years? Has it been too tough regulation-wise?
Well, for us, for Cisco, we didn't really have a lot of issues. There was very little engagement with the administration. There was some, obviously, like commerce and Gina was always great and spent a lot of time with the business community. But for other industries, it was much tougher. So if I think about it from a BRT perspective, it was much more difficult than we anticipate it will be with this administration.
You do business in China. We've talked about this in the past. If there is a trade war, how much more difficult is your business in China get?
Our business is virtually immaterial at this point in China. So from that perspective, it's not a concern. I have always said that I feel like the world is a better place and the global economy is a better economy if the U.S. and China can figure out how to coexist. Now, there's certainly issues that need to be worked out, but I think, and so I'm optimistic that the Trump administration has actually made some outreach to try to have some conversations. I think that's the first place to start.
Does it make it this environment, this politically charged environment, more difficult to be a global company and a global leader? I imagine now you have to really move or think through a lot of different chess moves, chess pieces. Not that your job wasn't hard enough, but now it seems like, holy cow, it got even a lot harder.
It is, it's certainly more complicated, but you've got everything from data sovereignty to sovereign clouds to desire for local manufacturing. So every country has different priorities and are implementing different requirements for companies, which makes it more difficult. It's more expensive. In many cases, it's inflationary for the country because the prices are higher when you bring services there. But we'll work through it. It is what it is.
I'm realizing I'm perhaps leaning too much into your business roundtable out here. On Cisco, we've talked a lot about AI orders. The street has given you high, marks for what you've been doing in AI. What does your AI order book look like?
Well, this is the last week of our quarter, so I'll let you know in 2.5 weeks.
Fair.
But as of the end of last quarter, we were well ahead of the linearity we would need for the target we set for the year, which was $1 billion from just from the web scale players.
How are companies using AI from Cisco?
Well, what we provide is the network infrastructure that connects the GPUs. We provide security. We provide enterprise stacks of tech that actually help them deploy AI more simply. We had a big announcement last week around AI defense, which actually gives them the ability to build guardrails around whatever models they're choosing to use. So we're out early on the security side of this. And I think this year is going to be the year we're going to see enterprises really deploy lots of applications. We were talking about contact center. Customer service is a real common application. But we think agentic AI this year will allow us to, I heard Benioff talking earlier about digital labor, and I think you could contemplate like the basic responsibilities of a network operations analyst being put into an agentic AI agent and actually doing that job.
Yeah, Mark was here a couple hours ago, and he was walking me through how agents are powering the World Economic Forum app. I mean, he typed in what panels we should go to, and up comes full answers. It's pretty amazing stuff. Yeah. But lastly, are you involved in Stargate at all? And when you see a press release like that come from this administration, do you think like, well, how can Cisco participate in building out AI infrastructure?
Well, I mean, we're not at this point, but I fully believe that we will have the opportunity to provide some of the technology underneath the NVIDIA clusters. Because we're doing the same thing in the web scale players today. There's basically 3 companies that can actually deliver the high performance, low latency Ethernet that's required, and we're one of them. So we believe we'll get a good shot at it.
So nothing to announce yet, but perhaps there.
Hopefully in the future.
Okay. All right. Chuck Robbins, good to see you as always.
Good to see you.
Cisco CEO. Have a great rest of the WEF. Appreciate
Thanks.
it.